If I'm trying to think like a scientist when designing a pedal, you want to have as many controls as possible. One of those controls is the sound of the guitar that you're using. I got into the NYXLs. They last longer, they work better, and they stay in tune for longer. Just a lot of things that make my life easier.
Sorry for the interruption, but if you could just take one moment to like and subscribe, we can continue bringing you the most fun guitar content on the planet Earth.
Please, and thank you.
Thank you. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Perry with Premier Guitar here in Nashville, Tennessee at the Brooklyn Bowl today with Poison the Well. So excited about this one. On tour for their seminal reunion of one of my favorite records of all time, man. This is awesome. This is so fun.
Yeah, no, same for me.
Dude, Ryan, great to see you. Nice to meet you.
I'm an avid subscriber.
Oh, well, thanks for watching. Keeps us employed. We like that. We like that a lot.
I like the magazine, too.
Oh, thanks for reading. A lot of people don't even realize we are our magazine, but you can subscribe to that.
I got the magazine, I got the app, you know.
Oh, you're all
world-class dork.
Well, all right, let's talk about guitars. I've seen you play Les Pauls, but recently Teles.
Yeah, I haven't owned a Les Paul since 2009. Well, we had a robbery on tour, and I had this Les Paul, a 78 Artisan that I was absolutely obsessed with.
Is that like Norlin era, the pancake bodies? Right?
Yeah, it was an odd non-pancake.
Oh, really?
But it was a 5-piece neck and all that other stuff. But before I had played Les Pauls, I'd always played Teles, and we had had our trailer broken into at a previous time. So when that Tele got stolen, because it was like really near and dear to my heart, it came from a really special place. I kind of just didn't want any other Teles, and then after the Les Pauls got stolen, I was like, well, I'll go back to my old friend Tele, and now I own 9 of them.
That's funny. So, but this is, you pretty much play the whole show on this one.
Yes,
right?
correct.
Okay, have you modified it at all? Because it looks like that
it's got I had Duncan made me a JB, but in a single coil size, and then it's the bridge staggered quarter pounder.
Oh, okay.
I don't particularly buy neck pickups, I just buy the bridge one and move it around. I rip out all the electronics, Gibson toggle switch in the back, flip the plate because I have a Danny Gatton obsession, and just one crappy steel knob.
Love that. All gas, no brakes. Let's go.
I added a string tree for string noise with some little foam.
Yeah. Keep it quiet.
A lot of the songs on this are really tight, so I want to try to keep sound down.
Before I got up close, I'm like, how the fuck is he getting such high gain with that Telecaster? But okay, that explains the situation. Yeah, that's a fun little trick. Yeah. I love, you know, I grew up playing Gibsons, but when I played my first Fender, got my first Fender, I'm like, oh wow, this feels so different because of the scaling. Is that something?
Yeah, I actually grew to really like the tension. I was using 11 to 54 on the last time I had a Les Paul.
Manly.
And I use 11 through 50 on these, but it's tuned down a step. But the thing that took me the longest to get used to was not having a 12-inch radius fingerboard. So, but 9.5 is fine. Yeah. I'm way used to it now.
Got it dialed in.
One of them over there actually has an aftermarket neck with a 12-inch, and I actually didn't like it. I was like, oh, it's weird. Not that it's a bad neck. It's awesome. It's the one I would play second, but I just got really used to this neck.
So those only come out if something were to go.
I broke a string the other day, and the first time in like 12 years, and I had to grab it. But yeah, I just stick with the one the whole time.
Gotcha. And while we're talking strings, what strings do you use?
Ernie Ball, 11 through 50. I use the cool James Hetfield set. You know, Papa Hetz something or other. Thanks, Tim, at Ernie Ball for that. Right on,
man. All right, well, I guess we'll show some photos of your other guitars, but since this one's getting it done, you got 2 killer amps.
Yeah, I really do love them. That's an older Bad Cat 50 watt, and then an Archon. This sort of covers your 6L6 land, and then that's the
Sure.
EL34 land, trying to put the two together to make a sensible combo. This is a Friedman cabinet, but my friend Jesse always calls me Donkey, so I changed the badge.
That's funny.
And it's cool because it's got vintage 30s in the bottom and 25s in the top. So I end up sticking with the 30 for the mic, but it's kind of cool. I hear the 25. And then just a regular orange PPC 412.
Yeah. Man, I've been really impressed with the Archons. It's
Yeah.
kind of a slept-on amp. Like
I used it for the first time while we were recording some new music with Will from Better Lovers.
Putney,
And I went home and bought one. I
Yeah.
really enjoy them. You could still hear notes. They're still, you still get the
super
chord,
clear.
and it's articulate, but you get pretty high gain.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing about that amp. It's like it will rip your balls off. You know what I mean? It's like a very refined 5150 or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was giving me what my ear wants to hear, but some of what a 5150 will give you.
Sure. Now the Bad Cat.
I've always really liked it, and I've always kind of gravitated towards Marshall Master Volumes. It's pretty open sound. The thing that I do like the Bad Cat over it is it keeps things really tight with some natural good compression. But yeah, I haven't.
Right.
It really fills a lot of boxes for me in that sense.
So they're both running at all times, right?
Yeah, and I don't use any of the channels, like the clean
You're not
channels,
switching.
all zero.
Doing everything with pedals then.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, let's take a look over here. What do we got?
So I don't know if you've heard this company Saturn Works. They make a bunch of utility stuff, so it's just like a 4-loop thing. These are all just volume knobs. Like there's 500K pot in the pedal, so right, and then I've never used the channels on amps, so I've always just turned the volume down, and this was a faster way to do it. And then this one is a 500K pot with a treble bleed. And that's kind of to get in between stuff. Let me turn all the bullshit off.
Gnarly.
So you end up kind of retaining your normal thing,
Sure.
but just a little pulled back. So for some accordion stuff, it helps. It's in a loop with a carbon copy and this solid gold effect Surfrider, which is a really cool reverb.
It's a verb, huh?
If you've never messed with their stuff. And then this really cool $99 JHS harmonic tremolo, which is pretty rad.
It's subtle, but
Yeah.
it's definitely there. A big old Phase 100.
Yeah, that's like fake Leslie.
That's a fun modulation
When
effect
I
for sure.
want to have a fake univibe. And then that stuff's not in the loop. This is, my friend Scott Gaylor would always say, sometimes you just need your confidence. And he always has a sparkle drive, but this, like if you're really having a tough time, you put that on and it covers your mistakes and you feel better about
Gives you
yourself.
a little wiggle room, right?
I normally don't have reverb or anything on. This one for me is if the stage is real boomy.
Oh, right.
I'll turn that on and it'll give you a little extra gain because it's just a little bit of extra input gain and make me feel like I'm more forceful than I am.
And you can this close to some air moving. You actually
Yeah,
feel it too.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And then noise gate.
The Zool is a good one.
That's the only one I've ever used that I've liked.
They're kind of tricky. Yeah.
It's my first noise gate.
Really? Ever?
I mean, maybe in the 90s I had a Boss noise
I was gonna
suppressor
say.
that I didn't know how to set well and was horrible. And then the second I stopped playing, it chopped it off and I was mad. But yeah, it's the first one I've really liked because you can keep the fuzz outside of, you know.
I guess I've always played kind of shitty amps, so I've always needed a noise gate.
But this one's really great.
Yeah.
You can set a lot of it so the chords can hang on.
Get a little sustain out of it for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I keep the action a little higher so that it doesn't really engage for a while.
That's that's very subtle. Nice.
And then there's another loop with the DM2, which I find I use this to just make noise between songs. And then the rubberneck, which is just set up for like a pretty standard analog delay.
Yeah. Man, that what is that? Saturn Works? That's a fun little switcher, man. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that
cool, and you
small.
can take the whole thing out of it too. So it's like a master
So you can remove
bypass.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's killer.
Yeah, they're great, and they're like really responsive, and I like would write them. I'm like, what if we did this? And they're like, yeah, we'll make it for you if you pay for it. And I was like, all right, yeah, it's fine, of course. And I love that fuzz, that Caroline Hawaiian pizza.
Are you using that quite often?
I use it on 2 songs,
so
but it's pretty
pizza.
unruly.
You know what's funny? I've always had like a strange aversion to fuzz until Will, because we did an end rig rundown with him, and he showed me this trick with a swollen pickle, like on top of an already brutal tone.
Right, yeah.
Throw that fucking thing on for a breakdown, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah, it's all
shit.
blooming.
Yeah, it's funny because it takes, you know, the zip of distortion, it just kind of makes it matter or something.
I think it just widens the field of sound you hear.
Fills it out a lot.
I ended up using it a lot for single note lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely gives it some teeth. I like that.
Yeah, it's woolly.
Before I let you go, how are you using effects loops, or how are you routing this to your amps?
So it goes in through the tuner and into anything that's kind of dirty, except for the phase 100's always in line. Then it goes to the loop switcher, and then like this volume knob and that reverb are in the first loop, second volume knob, carbon copy, surf rider, and the harmonic tremolo are in the second loop. The third loop is just the DM2, and the fourth loop is the rubberneck. To try to keep cable length shorter, and then it goes out to a radial AB, and then everything's on all at the same time. So technically everything hits the front end of the amp, both amps at the same time. I'm scared of technology. I mean, I know there's lots of things you can use, but this makes sense to me, and I could troubleshoot it when I inevitably break it, which is usually what I think about first when I have to go play shows. Like, how am I gonna fix it if it goes wrong? Do I understand this? So
kind of
I understand this.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good question, because, you know, especially heavy bands, a lot of times we show up these days and people are running modelers. Is that something that was considered for you guys? Are you married to amps, or is that just something you've never kind of dug into?
I've messed with them quite a bit in different situations. I think for this band and just what I need to do with this, I really like amplifiers. I like the air. I'm not on in-ears either, so I kind of need some stage volume. And also, I lack courage when it comes to equipment. Like, this makes sense to me, and this, you know, is simple. Like, everything kind of just does a thing, and that's the thing it does. And then if you want it to do something different, either get something different or play differently to make it do something different. And then that's kind of like my philosophy with it. It's all really simple stuff. I think the slow is probably the most complicated thing that I have here, and I only understand half its functions, but most of the music at its core is pretty simple, right? It's nothing flashy or anything like that. And I don't know, I think I just wanted to keep everything simple so I would understand everything.
Well, it's working. It sounds phenomenal, man. It sounds really, really good.
Oh, thanks.
Well, hey, thank you for not only doing this, but this reunion tour is so sick. I'm so excited for tonight. I guess we're gonna go talk to Vadim.
Great, have fun.
All right, guys, now we're with Vadim, a good friend of mine for a long, long time. Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Yeah, man. How's it going? How's this been?
It's been a lot of fun, man. This is the biggest tour I've ever been on.
What?
And it's pretty crazy.
I mean, you played in some pretty rad bands. If you guys aren't familiar, they Stay Forward. Life Once Lost, if you're old enough to remember, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been around doing this for a minute, bud.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, like, getting ready for this tour, especially, like, how fun was it? Like, did it all like immediately come back? Just like, because obviously, I'm sure you listened to this record as much as I did when we were young. You know?
Yeah, it was pretty bizarre. We did some Opposite of December shows in 2020, so there was supposed to be a 20th anniversary, so they were somewhat familiar.
And then the pandemic.
And then the pandemic, and then most of them we had kept in the set, so it was only just a few of them that I had to go back and. I'm one of those nerds that recorded myself playing all of the songs so that I remember how to play them afterwards, and it paid off. I was like, oh.
I have to do that too.
Yeah.
I'd like watch myself back.
I wrote out tablature for myself and everything too. Total nerd.
So, did you build this rig for this gig, or is this something that stuff that you've just always had and been playing for a long time?
Most of the stuff, I'm a creature of habit, so it's just stuff I'm used to. I did add a few new pedals. I met Dunlop MXR rep at Riot Fest, Mitch, and he suggested a couple things. I had a band member suggest a couple things. Ryan had got the carbon copy, So I've got that for a delay on top of the Walrus, the ARP87 2 delay, which I have. And then this ambient echo is really cool. It's just really nice texture pedal. So
the Joshua is a great pedal.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's a pedal I wasn't familiar with at all. I just watched a demo, and so again, just for certain parts of the set where it works, and then the rest of the, just simple chorus, simple phaser, simple tremolo. Just I don't do anything too bizarre.
Well, and most of the December stuff is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of modulation happening on that record.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. We'll dive back into this in a second. You're playing mainly this Telecaster, right? This is kind of your number one.
Yeah.
Tell me about this. This looks like a fancy one. The
It's not too old. I got this in the early 2000s, and it's sort of just been kind of my go-to guitar. Ryan had recommended to swap out the Seymour Duncans because that's something that he uses, and it's a little bit of like a better tone for the Poison Well, for the more chuggy stuff. Because I think a lot of people, when they see Telecasters being used for heavy music, they're like, "What the? This isn't really the guitar for it." But we make it work.
It's funny because especially in Nashville, it's like Teletown, and people kind of shit on you here if you have a humbucker in your Tele. It's like a thing. But like for me, a Telecaster with a humbucker in the bridge is the best of both worlds, because if you want the clean, beautiful Tele thing, it's in the neck anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, why wouldn't you want to have both?
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually, my Tele has the exact same setup.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And then I did the same thing for the Balaguer as well, which
you mind if I grab this one?
Of course. I don't mind.
These Balaguers are awesome, and Joe's like such a nice dude.
Yeah, so he knew that I played Telecasters, and so the body is kind of modeled the Telecaster. I think it's actually a bow from Seosin. I think he designed, or maybe it's his signature model, but they never put this on the line, so this is kind of like a one-on-one.
Oh, like a
one of one, yeah.
Is this roasted maple, this neck?
I don't even know.
Yeah,
Not
it's
sure.
beautiful. I love the access here for the truss rod. That's so convenient.
Yeah.
And then what Duncan is in here?
Again, I think that's something that Ryan kind of put in there, something to fit. So I don't even know.
Are you like switching? Or are you pretty much?
Yeah. So this one I'm using for D standard, and then this one I'm using for drop C, and it's basically just kind of to not be playing the same guitar the whole time, and just to have a quick guitar change.
Yeah, that's fun. What strings are you running?
So I got 50s on there, and then I have 48s on here. They're Diodarios.
Yeah, these things are sick, dude. I love the belly scoop and everything.
Yeah, got to send a shout out to Joe.
Yeah, right on. Cool. And then these oranges, is this something you've been running for a long time?
Yeah.
The Rockerverbs are great, man.
I love my Rockerverb, and I do prefer the 2-channel. I know some people are just very strict on. Yeah, I just love. Ryan's not very much of a clean tone guy himself. He likes to have a little bit of the breakup, which I do also. I roll back on the volume knob, but I do enjoy having that clean, and especially with some of the effects. I've had the head for about 20 years or so, and it's been my main head. Actually, funny enough, we're in Nashville right now. There's a little plaque on here for the case. The case was made here in Nashville, the live-in case, and it has a 1-800 number. So when we were doing production rehearsals, Noah was like, "Hey, let's call this number and see if it's still active." And it wasn't. It's not an active number anymore.
Oh, damn. What company is it?
I think it's just called Affordable Cases. Affordable Cases, but they were based in Nashville because I had to get that shipped out. And in fact, this case probably is heavier than the actual head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this was just mainly aesthetic, to be honest. We kind of just did it on production rehearsals just to have the backup, just in case anything happens. And then
with the tube amp, you.
Yeah, and then because Ryan's got the double rig going on, so I'm like, all right, well, at least I kind of look like I'm scaled at his
level. A lot of firepower if you're running both of those suckers.
Yeah, but I'm not. Just a spare. Hey, at least it's not a dummy cab, right? It could have a dummy cab up here.
And then I guess that's probably just a standard orange 412.
Yeah, this is a rental.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't have an orange cab myself at home. I just have like an old Hughes and Kettner.
Sure.
And whatever. This doesn't have casters on it.
Love
old guy. I need my casters though to wheel around.
I have one of those Mesa like oversized 412s, and it didn't come with casters. I screwed some casters right on that sucker because it's like
that's what I did.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
I went to Home Depot.
18.
I went to Home Depot and I'm like, I'm getting around the easy way.
Because at our age, no one in your band is like, oh, let me help you with that. Like that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Luckily, we got some techs on the store, so this
playing a big one
nice.
this time.
It's nice.
Yeah, this is great, dude. So where did you guys do production rehearsals for this?
We have a studio in Vernon, California, which is just south of Los Angeles. And then when we actually did the production rehearsals with the whole crew, we did them in Burbank. Can't remember the name of the spot now.
But
I can't
so
remember
you're
the
living
spot.
in LA now, right?
I'm just south of LA. I'm in
Okay,
Orange
gotcha.
County.
Yeah, okay.
Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
Now four of the 5 guys are all Los Angeles based.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Do you miss Philly?
Yeah. There's things about it that I miss.
I love Philadelphia. I know it's funny, you know, like I grew up in New York, so people are.
No, I
like
love
a rivalry, but I've always loved Philly.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to anywhere you're gonna go, you know. So it's all about what you make of the place where you live. That's kind of always been my attitude. And I live in actually kind of like a conservative town in Southern California. I live in Huntington Beach, and that kind of gets a bad rep. But it's all about what you make of it, right? So I mean, I love my park there. I have Huntington Central Park. I have the Bolsa Chica wetlands. I got the beach 1 mile away. I can do a bike ride when I want, you know.
Yeah, when Adam was living out there, I was always like, oh, you got it made, dude.
He lived 1 light over, literally 1 light over, and then our friend Scott Sprigg lived another light over. So we had this like triangle of friendship where we would just
so
meet
fun.
up. And,
Right on, man. Yeah, how exciting. All right, well, let's dive a little bit deeper into your pedals, but can I hear just your bass tone?
Sure.
So that's coming just like, gotcha, okay. Can we hear some core sounds, like some
Yeah, for sure. So I was telling you a little bit before about this this Old Blood reflector. So it's essentially a chorus pedal, but it has a little bit of modulation features. I got this from Colin from TDF, my old bandmate, and so I use that a little bit on Apathy, where you
Yeah, it's subtle. I like it.
Yeah, very very subtle, but I mean it's really all you need. And then you know the rest of the stuff is just it's pretty standard. I got flanger. When we get down to a little bit more of like the back off, there's that ambient echo, and then the chorus. So it just gives it a little bit more than just a standard breaking up, you know. Yeah, the delays, you know, just pretty standard. I have 2 different delays, and more or less they do the same thing. But the tap tempo, I kind of have it set for one song for one, and then another for the other.
Well, that's convenient.
I don't really blend them ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Very basic.
Oh, that's cool. In the Joshua, you can run a tap, one of those little MXR boxes. That's
exactly.
Nice.
Well, you can also hold it down and then do the tap that way, which is how I was doing it at rehearsals. And then it was a little bit kind of funky. Yeah. Well, what's really funky about it is that if you tap while you're holding something out, it does like a little bit. Like, you can't really hear it right now, but sometimes it'll do like a weird. It's not. Oh, there it is.
Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just had to get used to doing it before I turn it on, and so the tap makes it a little bit easier, because I think when you hold it down, it kind of automatically turns it on. I was like, oh shit.
Oh man, that would get confusing real quick.
Yeah.
So how are you using the Wazacraft chorus as opposed to the reflector?
The reflector I'm only really using honestly on just the one part of the song,
okay, gotcha.
Of one song of the set, and it's more for like the modulation than the chorus. And then the chorus is when I'm doing some more clean bass stuff, just to give the clean tone a little bit something extra, you know.
I love those Wazacraft pedals, but to be honest, I've played with a couple of them, and I can't always discern the difference between like the old
choruses?
circuit and the new circuit or whatever, because it's got like the 2 different options, right? So I think it has like the original CE2 circuit, and then the other circuit is like a updated thing, I think, right? Is that what those are? But yeah, I can't always hear the difference. but my ears are also very shot, so.
I wouldn't be able to tell the difference either. You're talking about the switch here?
Yeah.
These guys? I mean, we could test it out.
Yeah, let's A/B this.
So this is on clean, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, this one's a little bit more subtle, I guess.
Maybe, like a hair? Oh, okay.
I mean, that's almost like a tremolo effect there. So I just keep it. I don't mess with it. I just found where I'm happy with it and just keep it in the same spot.
Yeah, and then these Empress tremolos are great.
This was a gift from a buddy of mine for my birthday, Aaron. So thank you for that pedal.
Yeah.
I just had a standard, like one of those Boss tremolos. Again, I don't do anything super fancy, so it does what it does. But this one was nice because it's got the tap as well.
Yeah, trying to find it with a knob is pretty annoying.
It is.
Well, right on. Thanks for walking us through this. It's great to see you.
Great to see you
too.
too.
We're going to go talk to Noah and have a great show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
What strings are you running?
These are D'Addario NYXLs.
And the D'Addario NYXL.
But they're D'Addario strings, and I've been using their strings forever, and I love them.
D'Addario
strings as well.
D'Addarios.
Right.
D'Addario. I've been using D'Addario.
I'm a fan of D'Addarios.
Started using these D'Addarios. I like the D'Addario NYXLs.
These are D'Addario, and I got the NYXLs on here.
All right, last we are here with Mr. LA himself. We got Noah.
Yes.
What is up, bud?
Hi, how are you?
Man,
Dude, a big fan.
Thank
It's
you.
like actually super exciting to be here.
You're telling
behind
us,
it,
dude.
Behind the camera is Chris as well. It's like really, a dream come true to be doing this.
Dude, I mean, if you weren't aware, Chris and I are huge fans. This is great. This is
Me
super
too.
good.
Yes.
Well, look at this beautiful thing.
Yes. This is the Duff signature bass, courtesy of Mr. Michael Schultz from the Fender Guitar Company. If you know, you know. Thank you, Michael. I've loved you for a long time. Yeah, let's. Yeah, it's cool. It's heavy.
Yeah, that shakes ass on stage. That's great.
Yes. These, for those of you who don't know, this little hip shot thing that comes standard on these things is a lifesaver playing with some of these heavy bands with alternate tuning.
Sure.
Because while the other guys are tuning or switching guitars,
Ding.
bonk, I'm a click away.
Love that. Have you made any modifications to it? Or
I like the Leo Kwan
the
Bad
badass.
A. I don't know if you're allowed to swear on the internet.
badass bridge.
Badass bridges.
So what was the idea with
I like
these?
these
It's
a
more
lot.
mass, right? So
It's a little more mass. It's probably hard to see on this. Check one out for yourself. The height screws don't come out at all. So with this particular group, and we can fight about this in the comments, muting while playing bass with high gain is completely acceptable. I know there are people who don't do it and insist upon it, but you're wrong. And so when putting just like palm music. It's just like you don't like poke your hand on it.
Yeah.
So
rip it up.
and they are more high mass. I don't personally. I run like a compressor and stuff. So the like sustain thing on the instrument itself, clean into an amplifier might sustain longer. I would never know because I never do that.
Right. Speaking of amplifiers, you got this double sonic assault here, just ripping heads off.
Dude, I love it. We're running two 8200s, the Mark III version of it. I have had a couple of the Mark II Orange 8200s. These are specifically for this tour. It's very difficult right now in Los Angeles to service amplifiers, and it's very expensive.
Oh.
And there's a waiting list. So these are rentals right now. But then my sort of main cabinet setup here I've had for 25 years or something like that.
So what is that, two 15s?
That's a 15 on top and a 410 on the bottom.
Ooh.
The correct way to do it. We can fight about that in the comments also.
Oh yeah, that's gonna stir up the pot, buddy.
This 410 it's been on the road with a couple bands I've played with and has never set foot in a road case. And
You can tell.
It's completely fine.
It looks great.
There's no reason to put those in a road case.
And then is this one over here rented? Is this
Yeah,
back line?
the 810 is, which I love a whole lot.
Yeah.
But that's rented. Both of them are set about the same. I've found that the Orange 810 is a tiny bit darker
Really?
than this setup with the 15 and the 410.
See, that would be counterintuitive to me.
That's what it seems like. It might be it might be that 410 cabinet is just, blowing up.
It's just like
and
coming apart a little
dying,
bit.
and,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's what's adding to its special
See,
sound.
I think I would prefer this setup because you got the best of both worlds. You got the 15 and the 10s,
Yeah.
and it's not a whole ass refrigerator that you have to move.
Not a whole refrigerator that I help move sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys, you're on a big tour.
I help sometimes.
Yeah. So, in addition to this guy, you got a jazz bass.
Yeah, let's check that out too. These are both made in Mexico in Ensenada, a fine factory. If you can
They
go
do
down.
good work. Got several of their guitars.
Dude, yes, big, as I'm sure you saw with the other guys, big Fender fans in this band. Yeah, this is a Mexico 70s jazz bass from, I think about 2017 or something like that.
I love that even on the Mexican version, they put the binding on the neck and the block inlays. That's
Block inlays, binding on the neck. They don't do that anymore. I think they stopped in 20.
It looks so slick.
16, 17 something. This also has a badass bridge on it.
It is pretty badass.
And Mr. Ryan Primack, the guitarist from Poison the Well, put these quarter pounders in for me.
Ryan's very involved with everyone's pickup choices.
He really is. Kind of almost sounds exactly the same as the other one, but I know I like the. I meant to put a hip shot on this one, but I just kind of forgot before we went on tour.
Is this for certain songs or?
I'll play this. No, I don't switch during the show ever, and then I'll pull this out every once in a while if I just like
feel like it.
Want to change it up. We're in like Lawrence, Kansas, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this bass.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome. I love it a whole lot.
Sounds really good.
We celebrate pretty much everything Uncle Leo ever started.
Yeah.
You know.
And you could play all the forbidden riffs you want, right? On
Play
this
all the forbidden riffs we want. We were talking about that off camera. Yeah, we can't go past that. We're gonna get sued right away.
Oh yeah,
Forbidden
don't go any
riffs.
longer than that. All right, well let's talk pedals.
Let's talk pedals.
You don't have a ton of stuff, but you have some really fun stuff. I'm personally a huge fan of the Dark Glass.
Dude, me too.
Anything. I think it just sounds so good.
So probably, yeah, so right now the like crux, and you know, realistically, from an audience perspective on a live thing, you're hearing a lot of the ultra vintage, the first one, not the ultra vintage 2. This is the older one with no cab simulator or anything like that. And so
you got plenty of cabs going on. You're good.
I got plenty of cabs.
Good on cabs.
There's a lot of real cabinet happening.
Yeah.
But the ultra vintage ultra is probably over half of what you're hearing from the audience. This going direct to sound.
So that's going right to front of house.
That's going right to the front of house, right from that pedal.
I mean, it's funny how like that company's not that old, but it's almost kind of becoming what you expect a bass to sound like in heavy music. Because so many metal and hardcore dudes are using. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and it's like there's like this sort of I hate to put it down as a like mid scoop kind of thing, but also I refuse to use terms like growl and punch because
it's squishy and spongy, dude.
It's squishy and spongy, but it's like the like there is a like high thing happening on these that are, especially when we're getting onto like a
it sounds so good for chorded stuff.
It sounds really good for chorded stuff, and then there's a lot of chug happening, and we tune to C for some stuff, so having that like
drop C, right?
Yes, yes, drop C. I think the guitars will tune to C standard for a song or two, but I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But with the high thing that pokes through on this, 90% of what I'm doing is so that ability to be like present in the sound without calling it punchy or
it's not. I wouldn't say punchy
or growl.
But yeah, but like the opposite of December stuff is pretty chuggy.
There's a lot of
chugging going on. So
And it's like I've been really fortunate. I've been with the band for about 1.5 years, and so getting to dive into like the whole record and talking to them about. Because I mean, I heard that record when I was.
Shit, yeah.
I'm pretty old. Everybody, we don't look it, but we remember.
I'm fucking 67, guys. I'm about to retire.
71.
So. Yeah.
I thought the Misfits looked young when I saw them.
I thought Danzig looked great on this last
They
run.
looked great. We're the same. We're peers.
Yeah. Well, right on. What's this little? The little MXR is a comp.
This
right?
is just the regular. This is the tiny MXR comp. It is always on. I have it running after the legendary Boss ODB3.
Comment section, look out.
Which is also the correct place to have it on your pedal board, not before. And then a Boss Chromatic TU tuner that is...
Kind of need one.
Is, they make other tuners.
They do.
Some people use them.
You've had it forever?
I've had that forever. I have, I'll probably get a Wazacraft one when I lose this one somewhere, just because, it's black.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, maybe you could see the screen a little bit better too, huh?
If it's black?
Yeah.
No, there's no reason. Yeah, don't be upset, Mr. Boss. But yes, it's
Mr.
just
Boss is going to be so mad.
He's gonna, I just ruined it.
Well,
for
hell yeah,
myself.
Noah. It's great to see you guys out getting this done.
I
It sounded
appreciate.
Fucking great.
Dude, thank you. Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned for more rig rundowns, video lessons, all that fun stuff.